Okay, let's see. This is number 6 coming up. Let me sit over here. Look in the camera. Well, let's see where we can go from here. Well, like I said, so they tried to kill me. So then I went into hiding. Eventually, naturally, the car was gone. The whole shebang. I lived out there in Peoria. I can't remember what they used to call that part of town. Peoria. Just on the other side of the Hispanic church where that harlot Carmen Gill was the pastor at. But anyway, I'm gonna talk about her in relation to that issue as well. But anyway, and lived there after they tried to kill me, which was in I think in November, around the third week. It was a Sunday, beautiful afternoon. No reason, but man, as soon as that truck got beside me, nobody around, just me on the right lane, and as soon as that truck got beside me, that driver ran me 3 times. 3 times. On the third time, that was it. The first 2 times I was able to keep control of the car, but on the third time that he came at me even harder, I lost control. The car flipped over 2.5 times, and like I said, I ended up in the hospital for 3 days. For Sunday, I got out on. I was there Sunday. That happened at about 2:30 in the afternoon, and 3 days, 2 days, 2 days. Let's see, I was there in the hospital that Sunday. Then on Monday, then that Tuesday, I got out Wednesday, and boy, that I hurt. It was interesting. When I was in the hospital, I was crying because I couldn't even call my children to let them know that I was in the hospital because I knew if I did, that Cantrell, who was trying to kill me, along with you, Rick Clark, and because see, you're a part of it. I told you in the very beginning that those guys were criminals, that they were corrupt, but that's what you wanted because see, that was you as well. But anyway, and I knew that if I called my Kathy Isaac and Kristen to tell them I was in the hospital, I knew that you would call your goons and then say that I violated the protective order, and then they would issue a arrest warrant for me because I violated it, and didn't make any difference. I was in the hospital. They put me in jail, and I knew it, so I couldn't even call. It was interesting. I was in the hospital then, and all I could say, because crying because I couldn't even do that, and I prayed out and I said, why didn't you let me die, and just go on and be in eternity, and stop this pain, and and Yahshua said to me, because I answered your prayer, and I didn't understand. I said, what are you talking about? You answered my prayer. And he said, don't you remember your prayer? And I said, no. And he said, when the car was flipping over, you yelled out, save me, save me. Well, I answered that prayer. I go, wow. It was kind of interesting. I got kind of upset at it. And I said, why do you answer that prayer and not answer the prayer for my children? Now, he didn't give me an answer on that one. I mean, there are times when I get a little bit ticked off at that guy, my Yeshua. It's okay. Him and I, we have an incredible relationship like I've never had in the past. Never. We talk, chat. He's my best buddy. He's my savior. He's my redeemer. He's my Mashiach. And I'm gonna help and do everything I can to get a congregation going based on Yeshua HaMashiach, not this Jesus Christ false pagan idol. Gosh almighty, I can't believe the deception that I'm under, and the deception that my children are under. But okay, eventually we'll see what happens. So anyway, all my friends were telling me, James, you got to get out with the documentation that you've got on your wife, the senator, the guardian, and the judges. They're going to kill you. You got to get out of Tulsa. So I talked to my parents and all that in March of 2000 and that would be 2007, 2006, March of 2006. I don't know. After a while, you don't even know. Whatever. I left, and I came. I don't even remember how I got here to Richmond. I think I took a plane, but I don't think I did. I think if I remember right, I took a bus down to Texas and all that, because the planes could be watched for me and all that kind of stuff, etc. Especially when I had a friend of mine Jennifer. She was at the court many times, her and her husband. And she told me that she looked up and found that there was an arrest warrant for me. And I said, arrest warrant? What the hell is there an arrest warrant for me? Arrest warrant for what? And then this is when I found out. And this was naturally after you had gotten this protective order, which I'm going to talk about that day of the hearing. That's going to be really interesting. See if you'll at least be kind enough to give me an answer to a question I have. But anyway, that's when Jennifer told me that there was an arrest warrant out for my arrest, and I said, well, what for? And she didn't know. I didn't know, nothing. And she did me the favor with her husband of going down to the courts and looked up the documents and found out that I had threatened to kill Cantrell. I mean, all I could think of is, where do all these bastards come up with all these ideas? I'm going to kill a judge. Over what? You think this is worth it? No way. Not to me, anyway. I got too much to live for. Listen, Cantrell, I don't have to be concerned about Cantrell. The guy's decided that he's chosen hell for his eternity. So his judgment's already done. Rick Clark's already in hell. Okay? Period. And I'm going to attach the videos to Rick Clark, the effigy that I made for him on YouTube. If you haven't listen to him. Listen to what I told Rick Clark in the very beginning. And he mocked Yeshua. He mocked the Father. Well, he's mocking today. Down in hell. That's where he is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But anyway. All right. So anyway, when I got to gosh, there's just so much. You know, I'm trying not to go back and forth here, there, but there is just so much. Let me see if I can move here so that. Let's see, I'm trying to get centered here on this, on the video. Okay. So anyway, gosh, it's just. When I found out that those arrest warrants were out for me, I knew that if they caught me, I'd be in jail for 5 years, 10 years. I knew I was going to be railroaded because that's what this whole was out. They were trying to protect their asses because of the documents that I had. They weren't able to destroy them in the fire. They weren't able to kill me, okay, when they tried to murder me. Shouldn't say kill. They tried to murder me, all of you. Okay, that didn't work. And then they took out the fraudulent warrants for my arrest. So naturally they get me, then I've got to fight. So everybody told me, James, you got to get out of Dodge. And so I did. So that's why I had to leave. And you know, when I arrived in Richmond with my parents, I was so messed up mentally you wouldn't believe. Do you know that I was basically in a depression for over a year? And in that year's time, all I did was sleep, watch TV, and if I wasn't TV, I'd force myself to sleep. I didn't come out of the room over at my parents' house. Practically nothing. Didn't go out. Nothing. And I'll be frank with you. All I wanted to do, and all I did many times was pray that my spirit be called for and that I die. That's truth. Truth. I just could not comprehend what you were doing to me. It was just, I did not and could not believe that I had married this woman. It was even today. I'm going, how in the hell did I fall for that? But you know what? I'm over that stuff now. Hey, listen, I got a great life here. My life is being restored. I got my joy back. I got so much going on. Yeshua is blessing me, and all I do is love him. I spend time with him every night. Every night we talk. Every night I pray for Katya, Isaac, Christian. I've even prayed for Ian. And you know what? I've even prayed for you. You know? But like I told you, I have no bitterness. I do have anger. I'm angry at the actions, what you did. I don't have any bitterness towards you. Don't have any hatred towards you. None of that. None of that. See? And I'm not the one that's going to judge you. I'll tell you who is going to judge you. Katya, Isaac, and Christian are going to judge you. You're going to be judged by them because Yeshua told me in jail that I was going to be judged, that I was going to be judged in a divorce by them. You're going to be judged. And definitely we're going to be judged by Yeshua. Your father, let me tell you something. Your father's got some stuff he's got to straighten out. He could die any moment just because of his